Ezra, good to have you on here. Thank you so much for being here.
Cool. Yeah, happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Now, just off the jump here, was were drums the first instrument that you picked up?
No, not at all, actually. Can you tell? Is it that obvious?
No, no, no. I was wondering because it's interesting talking to musicians because sometimes people do know them just for one instrument and it's like, oh, that's actually not where I started at all. But then it became their main instrument, if you will. And this is one of
Yeah,
those cases.
it is. Yeah, I started as a guitarist, kind of guitarist and vocalist, and it wasn't until we started Earth Tongue around 2016. I was like in my mid 20s. It was, more than 10 years after I'd been playing guitar and playing in bands and stuff like that. So, I always had a little bit of I was always like a slightly jealous guitarist. Drummers have a lot of fun. So I was eager to get there at some point.
And here you
And
are.
yeah, here I am.
When did you start making music?
During in high school in a small town in the far north of New Zealand. Yeah. Um,
What do you remember what kind of kicked off that interest in general for you in making music?
I honestly don't really remember a time where I wasn't like drawn to it. In some way. My mum sent me to piano lessons when I was like 9, and then I moved to guitar and never looked back. High school, terrible high school bands, some all right high school bands, and yeah, all of that stuff. There wasn't a whole lot going on in my hometown, so it was yeah. The more interesting influences came after I left. I guess I was just a Metallica kid. I mean, I'm wearing a
Hmm.
Slayer t-shirt right now, so.
It just choosing teams willy-nilly, I guess. That's
Yeah.
fine. Um, did you start making music was this in Wellington, New Zealand?
I'm from a small town in the far north. I
Uh-huh.
moved to I moved to Wellington in when I was like 17 to go to university. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
and Wellington is like, for people that don't have the context of New Zealand, it's like it's the capital, but it's quite small. It's only like 250,000 people, but it is a city that punches above its weight in terms of like it's a small, close knit but thriving music scene.
Interesting. Okay.
Mm.
Do you feel like that's where things really started to happen musically for you?
Yeah, for sure. That's
Mhm.
that's where I was. There, there was a lot of cool things happening at the time that I moved there. Some cool festivals and some really noisy left field bands that were just like absolutely mind expanding for me at that time. And I think that scene and that time is like definitely where both Gussie and I drew a lot of um, inspiration for what Earth Tongue became, as well as international influences as well. But there was something going on in Wellington around those years, and yeah, it was a really good time to be exploring that.
So that is where Earth Tongue began.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All
A
right.
Wellington band, yeah. We did move away though, so we're like, maybe they hate us back there. I'm not sure.
Do you still look at yourself as a Wellington band?
Yeah, for sure.
Mm. Now, do you still look at yourself as a guitarist playing drums?
I do, but I don't think other people do anymore. I think uh, we've passed that threshold. But I do. I think it shows more than anything, kind of in the way that I play, quite a melodic way. I think it's also because I've never played, like, I started drumming at the start, like when we started Earth Tongue as a duo. So I've never, like, pretty much never played drums with a bass player. So like there's kind of like, you have to do as much as you can if there's only two people. So I feel like I fill a bit more space than yeah, maybe less melodic drummers, less drummers that are like duo drummers. Yeah.
Yeah, if hypothetically you were to join a more full band right now, do you think that it would take some you'd be approaching it differently than somebody else that was already
Yeah,
playing with?
there
Yeah.
would be there'd be a bit of a learning process on my part. Yeah, just like I think being in a duo just allows you to fill all the gaps in kind of a you know quite an intense way.
Right,
I would
right.
struggle to sit on a backbeat and play 4/4 and do all that stuff. It would take me a little while to settle into that.
Were you coming out of a three or four piece band before Earth Tongue
Yeah,
began?
yeah. I was in kind of a psyche stonery band
A
for
one
about
piece though,
five
right?
year 4 piece. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You
Where
wouldn't have heard of us.
well, I'm here about you now. I mean this just came across my desk. Please, just all right. It's new. It's new to me.
Yeah.
um how did you and Gussie Larkin initially meet? How did that go down?
We met the in that close knit Wellington music scene that I was describing. She was in a band beforehand as well, and which is still like kind of running. They obviously we don't live in New Zealand anymore, but they are about to put out an album later this year. So they're still like running a long distance band kind of thing. They're called Mermaidens, and uh, my band at the time just got asked to support them, and I was a fan, and we got on well, and we've been. Well, I mean, we started dating soon after that. We're a romantic duo. We're a couple band, whatever you want to call it. Romantic
I
duo. I've never said before.
I like couple band. I also like romantic duo. Um,
Yeah,
these are I like both the terminology so far. Ezra, I appreciate you coming on and kind of giving me some new verbiage on this
cool.
podcast.
I'm from the other side of the world, you know. We talk differently down there. We don't want to coin that term at all. Actually, like, I'm happy to talk about it and stuff, but there is always something weird about like I don't know, people that come up at shows and are like, so like, are you guys siblings? Are you dating? And it's kind of weird. It's often like a loaded question. Like, we're not secretive about it, but it's we prefer when people just like we're a band, whatever. Like, you know what
Right.
I mean?
Let the music speak for itself. Let that
Yeah.
be what it is and let that be what it is.
Totally.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm one of those people who would be like hounding you guys about the questions, but that's fine. How soon after that initial meeting did you guys begin making music together? Was it pretty shortly after?
It was a few years after, actually. Yeah,
Ah, okay.
yeah. Um, her band at the time, Mermaidens, were still really active. My band kind of went our separate ways. People moved overseas and that kind of thing.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, around like 2015, Gussie and I did some European travel, and we went to some festivals that were kind of the like European heavy rock festivals and stuff. And we started talking about it, started dreaming about it, traveling together, um, being part of these, yeah, specifically European. This European heavy scene was really appealing to us, and so we got back 2016, started making some songs together, and quickly put out an EP and started playing shows, local shows. And yeah, like I was still like a very new drummer at that point, and because we already like had a little bit of a local name, I guess. Um, we started getting shows that got kind of, you know, relatively speaking, they got kind of good really fast. So I was in a position where I had to kind of, you know, develop my drumming really quickly because the first few shows were like actually probably the first year or 18 months of shows I was like pretty shaky on the drums.
So this is around 2016. Did you
Mm-hmm.
feel like drums came naturally at least some of an extent leading up to getting kind of progressing as a drummer?
Yeah, I think so in the sense that like I already had a musical background kind of thing, I already had like a sense of time and I never had to like do lessons and even I was never even someone that like practiced the drums outside of band practice, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it came relatively naturally, but still, you got to put in your hours.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
So
and and
like,
that's with any instrument, of course.
yeah, for sure. But I guess maybe more so than most drums. Yeah, kind of can come little more natural. I'm not saying I'm a natural, but I didn't have to go to school.
Now conversely, you do teach drumming to other people now, right?
Hell no, I wouldn't know where to start. I'll just go on and tell you the Earth Tongue story, I guess.
Please, yeah.
I think it's kind of interesting how we how we did it. We I wouldn't recommend this to anyone, but we released like quite a DIY sounding EP 2016. First few songs we wrote together. I think it was 5 songs. We wrote up on Bandcamp, and being from New Zealand, a little island in the corner of the South Pacific, you put like touring Europe, touring the US, you put this stuff on like a pedestal. It's like everyone in these places does it out of necessity because it's just what you do. But it's like there's so many barriers if you're a band from New Zealand. So um, we just decided to come over and do a fully self booked tour off in Europe off the back of this one EP.
And that it
Um,
was Portable Shrine, correct?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. We were just like whatever. I don't know. I still kind of like. I still kind of agree with my mindset at the time, which is just like you can send a million emails at that point of a band's life. You can, you can even have some contacts. You can like you get so much further when you get in front of people, and if you've got the means, which we did a little crowd fund to pay for our flights, which were like insane from New Zealand to Europe.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we emailed hundreds and hundreds of promoters and people in different cities and got a couple of replies and um, yeah, we just fully DIY did it. Came over here, rented out a station wagon. That's a good thing about being a 2 piece, I guess. And I think we managed to get like 30 shows over 2 months or something. So it was like half vacation, half rock and roll tour.
Wow.
And we ended up like just having a pretty wild time. We like played in restaurants in Italy, and I remember we played in one like small mountain village in Italy, like in this library. uh,
Was that more of a stripped down set, or did they
no,
say,
we
"Hey,
just like we
rules are
just
off the table. You could be as loud as you want"?
yeah, we just did our thing. We
Oh
were loud,
man.
loud and abrasive, and everyone was down with it. We
I
we
mean,
played
I just feel like in my bones, I feel like this is so wrong to be
yeah.
so loud in this
I
in
know.
this
One of them
place.
was literally a sit down restaurant where people were just eating their pasta, and we
But
were like,
that's more acceptable than a library.
yeah.
Oh man.
Maybe it wasn't a library. Maybe it was like a bookshop or something. It was
Still
there was
though,
there was
anywhere
books everywhere. Yeah,
I was gonna say anywhere that there's an excessive amount of books,
yeah. Um,
that is quite a strange show, or quite
but yeah,
quite a
we
strange string of shows.
and then we also played in like big halls to know people, and we had a fun time, but it was really fast learning. We did a lot wrong. Um, but we did make a few connections that meant we could come back the following year and do it slightly better, and then we like it was pretty grassroots way to do it. And then we ended up enjoying touring so much over here that we um, eventually moved. So now we're based in Berlin, and we yeah still doing it, still hustling.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you feel like there was energy behind the project in its earliest days? Did you feel like there is something here? There's some sort of something behind this.
Yeah, I think there was enough signs that we were doing something that people were interested in to like keep us going. New Zealanders maybe more so than any like we're very full of self doubt. So I think we find it hard to promote ourselves. We find it hard to talk about ourselves. So I think there was always along the way, always many times where we were just imposter syndrome, like
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
having really hard times, and there was enough people that were like excited about it and everything to like to keep us going. Like, yeah, if you love a band, you should tell them how much you love the band because it actually does mean a lot. It actually keeps us doing it.
Where did the name Earth Tongue come from? And did that come pretty early on in the formation of this band?
Yeah, I can't take credit for that. I think when Gussie was trying to name her previous band Mermaidens, Earth Tongue was on the long list, or it was on the
Ah,
short list. So
it was on a list. We'll say that.
it was on the list. Um, to the point where I think she even had the Bandcamp already.
Gotta secure it early. That's smart.
Yeah, but it's a kind of mushroom. That's where it comes from.
Ah, okay.
Yeah,
Really
but we
covering
also
all the
just
bases early. I like it, Ezra. Please.
yeah. I mean, you got to talk about the band
You gotta
name.
talk about it. You got it's come on now.
We just thought it looked good on a t-shirt, and that's an important part of being in a touring rock
And those t-shirts are now available, so please go and buy one.
band. At our shows only.
At the shows.
Yeah.
This is an important place to get them. When did it start to feel like there was some success in the band? Was there a clear delineation point of like now there's really it's really happening?
Mm. I think we're still only getting little tastes of that, to be honest.
Well, I that's good for it to come in a drip, like just to keep on making moves, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Um, I don't know. It's all about defining what success is. You know what I mean?
That was going to be my follow-up question.
Yeah.
Do you have an answer? I mean, it's a big question in regard,
Yeah.
especially in regards to any sort of art form. But do you have a definition of that?
Um, personally, it's just like being in a position where I can feel, um, you know, like I can, look after myself and be creatively fulfilled. Yeah, which is not only music. Like, I think coming from New Zealand, you don't really. If you're telling, your friends' parents that you're a musician, it's not. They're like, okay, yeah, but what do you do for work? You know what
Right, right.
I mean? It's like not uh, possible to make a living off it. It's not like seen as a valid profession in New Zealand, largely speaking.
Nor anywhere. I feel like that. I mean, it's a hard conversation to have with the folks. It's like yes, but
Yeah,
what that is fun, but what else? Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But a lot less so in Europe and the US, in my experience. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
people are like, okay, cool. Like, there's avenues to support yourself. Back
Mm-hmm.
home, it's just something you do for fun. So the fact that, yeah, I mean, the fact that I'm still doing this and still enjoying it and paying rent, that's success in my book. I don't have to work in an
I
office.
would say so as well. That's yeah,
Yeah.
pretty good indication.
Yeah, yeah. But no, to go back to your question, I can't point to a certain point per se, but man, just no matter where we're at, being able to put on a show and play to even three quarters full room, like on the other side of the world, like that's awesome. I'm like I'm yeah,
That is a
just
good answer,
love doing
Ezra.
it.
I like it. I like
Yeah.
it. So far, so good.
Yeah.
Now, how long had the band been in New Zealand before moving to Berlin?
So we wanted to move to Berlin in 2020,
Hmm.
but obviously that was COVID year, so it was delayed 4 years. So we've only been here since 2024, so 2 years.
Hmm. Why Berlin?
Um, Before moving here, we had done maybe three European tours, and we had a bit of a network here through that and through other um, music networks, kind of from New Zealand and around the place that are based here. It's a city full of struggling creatives for sure. Um, and yeah, it just felt like the cost of living's a bit lower. It's got a nice vibe to it, especially in summer. Yeah, it made sense in a few different ways. Our booking agents were also based here, um, and yeah, logistically, it just made a lot of sense. London was the other obvious choice, and you really have to grind your life away to be able to afford that place. So
Right.
yeah,
And in the grand scheme of things, it is pretty close if needed to go over there. Closer
exactly.
than New
It's a lot
Zealand.
closer. Yeah, it's like 2 hours away. It's great.
2 hours away from New Zealand, like 30 minutes from Berlin.
Like 30 hours away from New Zealand.
32 hours. It's all
Yeah, yeah,
relative.
yeah, totally.
So
No,
when yeah,
I always had a good time visiting here as well. Admittedly, it is quite a different feeling living here to like being a visitor here. But
right, right.
once you get over that hump and you figure out life here, yeah, it's it's fun. It's a fun place to be like in between tours because you don't get a post tour come down because you're like in a really fun city.
You're still in somewhere that
You're
things
still
are
going.
happening. Uh-huh.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. I see your point. I do.
It wouldn't be for everyone for sure.
But it
But
is
like
for you, and that's
but
what matters.
I think what people don't realize about Berlin because it is such a like town you come to party, like, that's what
Sure.
everyone does. But when you're living here, it's actually quite it's full of parks and there's like a kind of a chill European vibe. There's a lot of people that are like um creatives that don't exactly have regular jobs. So there's a lot of just like slow paced hanging out happening. So it actually is quite a good place to chill after a tour.
And you wouldn't catch that if you were just looking at it from the peripheral.
Exactly. Yeah,
Right.
because people come here for a fast paced big weekend where you go to techno clubs and don't sleep for 5 days or whatever.
Which does happen, but also there's another side of the coin.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ah.
It's not all that happens,
Right.
but it
Were
is
you
definitely some of what
this we're not negating that it's occurring.
happens.
Was that clear to you, that was that side clear to you before moving there? Or did you kind of ease into it and it was a realization after getting there?
Yeah, when we were coming over here for our first few tours, we would like spend a month or so here.
Oh, so
It's
you
that
you you really did spend some time to get the feel for
Yeah,
it. Ah.
yeah, exactly. So that's how we like already had a network of friends here and stuff like that. It's just that thing of like coming to Europe for a tour from New Zealand. You would like even if you had 6 weeks worth of shows, like that still doesn't feel long enough to justify how long that flight is. So you would like spend another few weeks somewhere to hang out.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
And I
because
agree with that sentiment. I do. Let's make the most out of it. I do not want to be in that airplane for nothing.
exactly, especially because you're often leaving the New Zealand winter and coming to European summer and all that kind
Right.
of thing.
It is reversed.
We have Christmas on the beach, but I guess you do that in California too. So whatever.
I mean, so if you don't want to embrace Christmas around here, sure. That that first release was Portable Shrine. That was already put out before moving to Berlin. How many releases were there before moving?
No, that wasn't. That was 2016. So that was before our first tour over here,
Hmm.
and we didn't move here until 2024. So it was quite a few years after. So there was two full lengths in between that time before
Two
actually
full
moving here.
lengths. Okay.
Yeah. So we
Now,
were like a lot of Earth Tongue's life. We've just been like an active band in New Zealand doing the kind of occasional European tour. But yeah, for those first like 6 years, I guess we were just touring as much as we could in New Zealand and Australia. And there's like four main cities in New Zealand that you can tour in. So
which which
you
are-
can do that
which
much. You can do that much more than like two times a year is pushing it. So
right.
that's 8 shows per year.
Good run. Solid run.
Yeah. So that's that. I guess that's why you can't make a living off it. Um, that is Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, Dunedin. That's the classic tour route.
In that order.
That's north to south. Yeah.
And you better not do south to north because
Am I the first New Zealander you've had on the pod?
no.
Oh, you had Joe Gatt. I see.
Joe, yeah. Yeah. And shout out to Joe Gad, incredible musician. Please
Yeah.
go and check out his stuff. He's an amazing musician.
When
Now,
did you talk to him?
ooh, this was well, what when was the his last album whenever that was coming out? Maybe 2 years ago now?
Okay.
Maybe
I'm just
2024?
I'm just
Sounds
remembering.
correct.
I I don't know him super well, but I went to his show in Berlin. Must have been last year at some point. And we were chatting and hanging out, and his backpack with a lot of important items in it got snatched that night. And I'm just remembering, I'm just like, oh, so rough. I think it was like in the middle of a tour, and it was all this. I was just like, ah,
Where did you put the
man.
backpack?
It's just over there in my apartment. Yeah,
Okay. All right.
yeah. So I've
Joe,
been
we got
meaning to
eyes on it.
I've been meaning to tell him.
I mean,
Yeah,
he'll come across this one. It'll be
yeah.
good. Yeah, his he's a fantastic musician. Now, let me ask you this, Ezra. Did you feel like a relationship between Australian musicians and musicians from New Zealand as well during while you were living there? Did you feel like that was a copacetic sort of relationship?
It's a good question. I think it's kind of interesting because bands from New Zealand very frequently go to Australia, but it's not so common the other way around.
Mm.
So um, yeah, I guess like bands in New Zealand have to get to a certain point to even be able to afford going to Australia because it is still like it's a 3 hour international flight, it costs a lot of money and all that. It's definitely necessary because there's much bigger market over there. But for that reason, like there should be far more of a relationship between the underground bands in Australia and New Zealand. There's one music festival that it actually just started last year, had its 10-year anniversary. It's this legendary New Zealand music festival called Camp Aloham, just out of Wellington. I could talk about this festival for a long time because it's super interesting in what they do. But they brought a lot, maybe like 10 Australian bands to New Zealand for this uh, camping festival that goes between 2 weekends. So there's weekend one, and I guess kind of like Coachella, except it's very small and DIY and camping, and there's like 400 people. It was really cool to see because all of these really well curated Australian underground bands came over and just had like an amazing time in New Zealand. They're the kind of bands that wouldn't have made it without this festival. They wouldn't have like made the trip. And because that festival is so like integral in the kind of indie underground scene in New Zealand, like everyone from the it was just like this really good mixer. It was like a really good eye into how good the relationship could be between these kind of scenes, but it it really doesn't exist very much. And you know what? A lot of the main problem New Zealand has nowadays is people like me moving overseas, because it is like kind of hard economically there for artists. So yeah, I think just generally New Zealand is unfortunately losing a lot of the integral people for that reason.
Right, to make this small underground community can continue
Thrive.
this eco. Yeah, thank you. That
Yeah,
was the you let me hang in there for a minute
yeah.
without speaking up
Everyone.
on Thrive,
It's
Ezra.
a
You're
big.
just like, yeah, let me just see him drown a little bit. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, if you ever want to go to New Zealand, that festival is it's a good one to get to.
Did you feel like that move to Berlin kind of put some new energy into Earth Tongue?
Um, yeah, I think it did. Um, it put us into a situation where, for the first time, we were uh, like financially reliant on the band, which changed our relationship with it for good and for bad. But it meant that I don't know. We started thinking about it differently. We started having to be more productive and tour more and grind more and like do everything that you need to be to survive as an artist in a city where you don't have any roots.
It's a big
Um,
jump even if you did it in New Zealand, let alone in a new place,
exactly. Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So I think that actually gave us a big boost of energy like that. as well as just growing our networks in a much bigger um, yeah continent, I guess.
Do you feel like Gussie has had the largest impact on the music that you make? What she brings to the table?
Um,
And would you say that the reverse is true? Or at least there's some sort of an impact you are both giving to one another?
I think I think if it wasn't for like our specific duality, like if I was playing with other people, I'd definitely like be making something different. It's something about the combination, like where we meet in the middle of our tastes, that I think is, that's like the special thing that we have. I think
Right.
um, we we definitely, yeah. It's an interesting question.
Thank you.
I think like songwriting wise it's pretty 50-50, I'd say. So I think we both bring our own yeah, flavor in a kind of equal way, I'd say, because I was originally a guitarist as well. Like, we work on the melodic parts together, and her big thing is her yeah, what she brings vocally and melodically. She's someone who's like, we're both very self-taught, but she's like got this insane ear for vocal melody and harmony, which is definitely like, you know a very big part of the band. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. What was your relationship to singing prior to this group?
um it was like something I did because no one else wanted to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't know. Yeah, I I was happy to be the guy that did it, but I've never considered myself like a strong singer, but I can I can I can hold it down, and I do think that um the like harmony thing that Earth Tongue has is like a big part of the sound that we developed, and that was something that
Definitely. Yeah.
we came up with in like the first few songs that we wrote together, and it's still something that we like always try to find, and the like that feeling is something that we try to find in the stuff that we do
It's good, it's a good
still
reference
now.
point. Yeah.
Yeah. Um yeah. And we do it maybe less now. It's not like so focused on that, but it still feels like um Earth Tongue when we're in that fifth harmony zone.
Do you feel like the music that you two have gone on to make over the past 10 years now, has it changed? Maybe,
um
or maybe not in a
I think we
huge way, but
I think
maybe
we
in more minute ways, like you were just mentioning, with kind of moving away from the harmonic stuff and whatnot.
yeah, I think we're still kind of searching for the same kind of energy that the very first songs we wrote together were sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we have definitely like developed in our songwriting and our playing ability as well. So I think I like to think it's gotten better. But there's always like that early album magic that people always like the first thing you do.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, when you put out that first EP, was that pretty big for the? Did you feel like that was a bit like, hey, here's a big step for this band?
The first EP?
Yeah.
No, I mean at the time, I don't know. We were just doing it. We were just doing it because we were doing it. You know what I mean? I it all kind of happened so fast. We were still just figuring it all out, and yeah, it's 10 years since that EP now, and yeah, still like it, still dig it. Would
Okay.
reco- would record it differently now, but yeah.
Is that how you feel about all the older songs from the band's catalog?
Yeah, I think I've got like there's songs on each album that I love, and some that um I would change now, but I I th- I think Floating Being as well. That's our album from 2019, and that's kind of the one that like did surprisingly well for us on just on Bandcamp, and we got a small record label in the UK, and we sold out of a bunch of pressings, and it kind of like it leveled us up for sure. And it's one of those things. At the time, you record like just how you can. We had limited resources, and we did it with a friend in Melbourne. And at the time, it like sounded really weird to me, and we were just figuring it out. And now I listen back, and I'm I think the recording's like super imperfect, but it's so full of character, and it's so what people like about Earth Tongue.
Right. That I mean,
Um,
the imperfections make songs.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah, whether it's in the playing or the recording style as well. Yeah, I think we have always like been into leaning into the imperfections. I think this music in general is so overproduced these days. This was a big conversation we had about um our most recent album as well, Dungeon Vision, because um it kind of got even more raw, and the process was just a bit more. It wasn't DIY because we recorded it with Ty Siegel in his studio in LA,
Hmm.
but his process is just super analog. Like it was the same way you would record a record in 1972. You know what I mean? So there was like
Did you enjoy
no
that?
there's no options for editing and stuff like that, and it was freeing. It was just like you just have to play the songs good in the room, and you've got this guy who you hugely appreciate and respect that's telling you if it was a good take or not. It's like eh, I don't know. I like to let go of some of that stuff and just roll with it. Yeah,
It seems like it alleviates some pressure, but then puts on pressure in different spots that they weren't there before.
definitely. There was a bit of like performance anxiety, which you don't usually get when you're recording. You usually get that when you're performing.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, no, Ty has been. He was a big influence when we started the band, and yeah, the whole um how the whole thing happened, where we ended up like touring with him a bunch and recording with him is a pretty cool part of the Earth Tongue story at this point. Yeah,
Yeah, it seems like he's always championed smaller bands and kind of said
yeah,
like, "Hey, let's tour together." I mean,
yeah,
and he's still doing that on his like current tour, which is
yeah,
just it's great. Yeah,
yeah,
Ty
totally.
is definitely a very unique um artist and really does a lot of yeah, good things for different bands and such.
Yeah, totally. We met him in 2023. He was doing his first New Zealand tour, and
Wow.
we got put on as the local support for two shows, and they played a festival that we also played at, so kind of three shows. Um,
I would count that
and
as three, Ezra.
and we were
That's just me though. I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers.
yeah,
I would say it's a clean three.
it's a clean three. And yeah, we got on with them really well because I mean, Emmett, his guitarist especially, are like huge New Zealand music nerds, and it was like I think Emmett had visited before maybe, but it was their first time kind of playing there, so they were just nerding out about going to record stores and finding flying nun stuff, and there was a lot of shit we could relate on, and yeah, and then Ty's European tour was coming up, and this was going to be like around the time we were moving to Berlin, and I messaged him and said, "Do you want to do you want us to support that show?" And he was like, "Just come on the whole tour." So we did like 14 shows around Europe together, and that was 2023 or four. And just in February this year, we also toured Australia with them. So yeah, Ty's been like super super great. He also lined us up with Larry from In the Red. Um, so yeah, those few shows that we did together in New Zealand in 2023 have like been super good and like giving us some momentum and yeah.
What a great way to get moving to Europe, and also, hey, here's a thing to do immediately or
Yeah,
pretty
yeah,
shortly.
yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
It was
Yeah.
kind of cool as well, thinking back that the first few, I mean, the first two shows we played together were the first two times I had actually seen them. You know, after being fans for years, and they were like, one of them was a fest. There was it was a very like full flooded out summer, and there was an outdoor show we were supposed to do together, but it got flooded out and moved to like our our local dive venue in Auckland, you know, like the spot that I've played a million times and I've seen all my friends at a million times. So it was like us supporting Ty in this club that has a sound system big enough for like a 600 capacity room, but it's like a 200 capacity room with a pillar in the middle of the stage. And like, I don't know, like, I feel like it put us on a real even playing field because all of a sudden he was just playing our local. Probably for the first time, probably the first time those guys had played a room that size in like over like 5 years, you know?
I like that you had a little bit of home field advantage on that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. So we're just
that's
like, this is
good.
sick. Like, yeah, that was rad. And they were so like chill about the whole show as well. Like they were down to play in this small club, and they were also just like, let's throw our whole set list aside and just like play some old stuff, you know. So that was fun.
That
And
is
then
that is fantastic. Yeah.
cut to a I don't know a year later or something, and we were supporting them at the Roundhouse in London to like more than 2,000 people.
Wow.
Yeah, that's cool.
Was he ready for that? I mean, I know you guys were, but I don't know if
I think yeah, they had a killer show. That was I think it was yeah, that was a special show for sure.
yeah, it's always nice seeing him perform. What is the most challenging aspect of making music for you, Ezra? What is the most challenging?
Hmm. Um, Most challenging aspect of making music, I guess, of like making it work as a touring artist. There's a lot I could talk about, but yeah, it's just like generally it's a bit of a logistical nightmare. But also like I think in 2026 the bands that do really well are bands with really high output, and I think that is probably the most challenging thing is like being able to be an active touring band but also um, churn out songs that you're happy with, recorded in a way that you're happy with, in a way that you can afford, and just like keeping that ball rolling. I would say it can be challenging at times, and because of the whole nature of it, it's so common that you're like writing the songs with a tight deadline. You know what I mean? And this because you've booked some studio time or because you got this tour coming up and you need this stuff to just appear out of nothing. And I think that's what I find the most challenging is like being able to write stuff. I think the nature of being an artist as well, like you have to be picky about it. You have to write stuff that your very like specific taste fits with, and I think that's what I find artist. Yeah.
What is the most rewarding aspect?
Um, I would say it's definitely not like it's not like getting fans in numbers, but it's I think it's cool when you like you reach these like-minded freaks in far out places who like connect with what you make on such a level that they just like have to write you this big message and just say like just discovered you guys and went through everything and like I don't know just like when you come across these people who yeah, just like connect with what you do on such a level that they get it. Because I don't know, Earth Tongue's definitely not for everyone. It's definitely a bit of an acquired taste, and I think there's a few people out there that just like really fall in love, and that's why that's the most rewarding thing, I think.
And the music's just for them. And if you're not one of those people, keep it
Fuck yeah.
pushing. Yeah. We're gonna clip that. We're gonna clip that. That's what's going up on Instagram. Um, so in addition to making music, you also direct, right?
Yeah.
This is also something that you're doing now. Where did your interest in directing come from? Where does that stem from?
Um, Always been a bit of a movie nerd, and I also kind of like I studied journalism at university, and then kind of just I went more into like uh documentary film and that kind of thing through journalism. Um, and which eventually just led me to making music videos for friends and my own music projects in the early days and stuff like that. It was quite a natural progression from just like doing it for friends to eventually getting asked to do it for money, and then that taking over and becoming my kind of bread and butter. Um,
You even do it
but
for some
yeah,
enemies too, right?
yeah, now I do. Yeah, if they can
Yeah.
afford it.
Yeah. If the money's right.
um, but yeah, like I I can't really look back and say like I was like the biggest music video nerd coming up or anything, but through just like doing it in a very DIY way, I fell in love with it as a format for sure.
Yeah.
Mm.
Does the role of directing, does that kind of give you the chance to flex a different creative muscle outside of music?
It does. Yeah, it's quite a cool duality to have. Yeah, I like I like to be working on something creative at all times. It's just like the way my brain is. So yeah, when it's not music, it's film, and they're both quite logistics heavy, creative um,
Endeavors.
endeavors as well. Yeah, so and I like all of that side of it as well. Like I like all the scheming and producing and planning and envisioning and all that kind of stuff. With film, especially, it's like it's a very cool thing. Just like closing your eyes, listening to a song, and like making these images that come up in your head real. You know. So yeah, it's just something that I fell in love with more and more just by doing it, and yeah, I hope it, I am able to keep it going. It definitely has taken a bit of a backseat with all the touring we've been doing. We're having a pretty busy year on the road this year, especially. So
This
it's
is a
taken a bit
good
of a
problem.
backseat.
Yeah.
It's a good problem, and I'm still like mainly just focusing that side of my creative brain on Earth Tongue videos, which is cool. So hopefully we're going to do a few more this year. Um, yeah,
Is our music videos, that is the intersection between these two creative processes, right?
for sure. Yeah, I think over the years where I've been doing the two things, it's very much been like with filmmaking. If I was doing longer form narrative things, like they need to take months at a time out of your life, and so that just doesn't really work. So
Right.
it's like commercials and music videos that I kind of do in that world. But more so music videos just because of my networks, I guess, and
It's
because it's
harder. It's harder.
fun.
It's way more
Yeah,
difficult than anything else.
it's hard to find money for it.
That too. It
Yeah,
compounded on the other issues
yeah,
logistically.
yeah. I know we made it very hard for ourselves by having uh you know Earth Tongue are we're world builders. So now like If we want to do a music video, like it's a whole thing.
That's the way it has to be. If you
Yeah,
want the best, you go to the best. That's just the way the world works.
but yeah, I'm jealous of people who can just like put a wide angle lens on and like do this in the streets, you know.
The
One day,
next, yeah, I was gonna say,
next album.
keep your eyes peeled.
I wish.
Might be making an appearance in a
Yeah.
future video. Is there a different sense of satisfaction when working on both these mediums?
I think they're actually like they're kind of similar in a lot of ways. It's just like the equivalent of like the shoot days is like the days in the studio. And I think um yeah, I think they're both like equally satisfying, honestly. For me anyway. It's just cool that I've got something else that's equally satisfying to do when the other one is having some time off, you know. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
that feeling is not restricted to one
Yeah, I think I would say
action.
that the cool thing about film is that it is more of a collaborative thing. Like you're working with bigger teams and there's like more hands working towards the end product. Whereas Earth Tongue can sometimes feel like just Gussie and I scrambling around in the dark trying to find a song idea that we like.
Which is great that you
Which is
have
also cool.
that you have both of these aspects at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
I like it. Uh, oh, Ezra, by the way, favorite film. What is it? Not why is it? Just a what?
I'm gonna say it's a Wellington film. I'm gonna say Brain Dead, the early Peter Jackson slasher.
Why? No, I'm just kidding. Okay. All right.
Why? Because there's a lot of blood.
Okay. More of a simpler answer than I was thinking. But if that's that, that's that. All right.
No, that's my answer today. You know,
Yes. Yes. It could change, but as of
I
today,
actually
that's what we're going off of.
I fear that question. You know, I get like with
Well,
that
we're
question, my
wrapping
mind
it
kind
up.
of goes blank. I'm like, oh.
I
But
th-
I was wearing my hat of that movie today, so that's it's an easy one to think of.
we had
But
to
also,
get
it's
we had to get a real hard one in towards the end.
yeah,
Earth Tongue is coming to the USA this month.
yes, you got to
Um,
plug it. You got to do this bit
yes,
at the start of the pod as well, because people are gonna zone out.
you better say what this year. No, you guys are coming to the US. Now, this isn't the first time you guys have played in the US, correct?
Our first time was October last year. We did, yeah, like 24 dates, I think. We were more West Coast that time. This is our first time in the East.
Ah, okay.
Mm,
Do you enjoy touring?
yes, for sure.
Do you think it's going to be different on the East Coast?
I have heard mixed reviews in comparison to the West Coast. I've heard people say that I mean, the distances are a bit smaller between cities. That's
Yeah,
appealing.
sure.
Um, but I've heard some people say that it's like harder to get people out, and other people say that it's easier. So I'm a bit like, uh, I don't know. When you're playing in new territories, it really is like going back to the start of your band's life. You know, like I think the way Earth Tongue has grown has been a very grassroots. Like you go to this place, and then you go back, and then you go back, and then you go back, and you like build it pretty organically because we don't have the like Spotify numbers or whatever. So I have relatively low expectations of East Coast shows, but I'm at least it's all new cities, and I'm going to be seeing some shit.
The Americans listening to this podcast, please prove him wrong.
Yeah,
Just come out to these
come on,
shows,
come
please.
to the shows.
No, Ezra, I really appreciate you coming on here. I really do. Thank you so much for staying up a little bit later and joining me here today, or tonight rather, however you want to look at it. Glass half empty, glass half full.
It's all relative. Yeah,
It's all relative.
I'm jumping on a plane for this tour in like 8 hours. I
And
got to clean my house.
you're gonna make it, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna make it.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Now, um, we got some more promo stuff to go over before we end this recording. But like we just mentioned, Earth Tongue's U.S. tour, East Coast, is happening now. By the time the day that this comes out, you guys are playing Brooklyn, New York. So if you're in the area, please come by.
Hmm.
Um, make
Unless it's
sure,
sold out by then.
which it probably is. In which case,
It's likely.
go to the next tour date, which is, and this is happening until 26th of May, right?
Yeah, I think maybe 25th is the last one.
25th is the last one. And if you have all the locations in front of you, if we could run down them real quick.
I got it.
I knew you would. You're professional.
Okay. Starting May 10th, we're in Rochester. 11th, Brooklyn, Boston, Philadelphia, Washington, Charlotte, North Carolina, Nashville, Tennessee, Atlanta, Lexington, Columbus, Ohio, Detroit, Davenport, Colorado Springs, and Grand Junction, Colorado. If you're in any of those places, come say what up.
Yes, please do. I mean, I was conceived in Grand Junction, so these are hot places. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
That is some hot info.
it's very hot.
Um,
Yes, if
14,
you're
14 shows on a row in a row. So
light work.
actually, as a test to see if anyone listening to the show is coming to any of the shows, um, if you want to bring any gifts to the merch table, 35 millimeter film. I always shoot a lot of photos, so bring me some of that.
Please
It's a thing. People bring it to me quite a lot. So let's keep it going. Film's expensive.
keep the tradition alive. Um, tickets for all of these shows are on sale now. And people can go to earthtongue-copy.cargo.site for all these links to all these shows we just mentioned.
Wow, that's a pretty ugly URL, isn't it? I
But
think it also.
it's fine though, because whatever people listen to this on, just scroll on down
Oh
and
yeah,
the link will be right there. So easy
nice.
as.
Earthtongue.co.nz also works, I think.
I like that one.
Link in description.
Link in the description, of course, as always. Now, yes, if you make it out to these shows, please buy some merch. Please bring some gifts. Please buy some merch. And if you see that there's still tickets available 30 minutes out from doors opening, buy one or two tickets, even if you don't live in these cities that we just mentioned.
That's a great point. Not
It
enough
looks
people do that.
good. Yeah, it looks good on the books. It feels good for everybody involved. This is a new thing I've been mentioning for touring
Okay.
bands. So if you could do that, if you have some spare dough to throw around, please
You
do
think you
that.
got some? You got some philanthropists listening?
I think a large majority of the of everybody's a philanthropist to some of an extent, but yeah, let's uh let's do it up.
Hell yeah.
Month of May. Come on. May we have some more money is what we're calling it nowadays.
Yeah.
So please support Earthstrong on this tour. This is not a cheap endeavor
Yeah.
that is going to be taking place.
Any money we make from tickets is going straight back to our next US work visa.
Okay. So hey, come on now. Everyone can stay up to date with all dates and news and everything else by following the band on Instagram at Earth Tongue. Is that the best place? Is that the most happening place for the band right now?
Instagram's the one. Yeah.
Hmm. Now where is the best if people cannot make it out to these dates? Where is the best place people can support the band on the online?
Bandcamp's the one. Bandcamp
Hmm.
rules. You can get everything there. We don't have a like merch store online at the moment, but maybe we'll figure that out at some point.
It's in the
Um,
works.
yeah. I reckon just send them to Bandcamp. That's the one.
And that's at earthtongue.bandcamp.com. That's what we're referring to right now. And people can also see your film work at Sunbed Films on Instagram. Is that the
Um,
main place that it's all happening?
yeah, yeah. It's actually not super active. I reckon just go to at Ezra Simons, EzraSimons. That's my personal account, and that's where I post all my stuff.
All
Um,
the good stuff is there.
or Ezra.camera is my website. I was just gonna say, we're also coming back in August. We're doing Field of Vision.
In
It's gonna be
Colorado.
good in Colorado. We love Colorado. Colorado loves Earth Tongue. Apparently, we keep getting us back.
It's mutual. Ezra, I appreciate you coming on here. Earth Tongue tour now. Please go buy the tickets. And have a good flight, okay?
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes,
It's been nice
absolutely.
to, yeah,
My
talk shit.
pleasure. Thank you. Ezra, I'm gonna stop recording this. I'll talk to you in a minute, okay?
Okay, cool. Yeah.
All right.